outsider. The losers of this one closer to the drop. The winners might be feeling a bit safer, but who will that be? That is such a difficult call. Terry O'Connor, what do you say?
Yeah, well, it's very tough to call in. A lot of talk, a lot of hype around this, and rightly so. You know, when Jenna Brooks and John Wells were talking to the players coming in, they were saying, yeah, we've still got another 5 games to go. But let me tell you, I think it's all on this game. If both of these sides have only won 4 games out of 21, you lose this, you've got to win 2 out of your last 5.
Well, Wakefield have possession in their white hooped kits. And they, despite the fact the bottom of the table, Barry, probably go into this with a bit more confidence, given that they've actually won a few games, whereas the Castleford Tigers have lost 5 in a row.
And at home, over the last probably 6 weeks or so, they've been formidable. I agree with something Jamie Jones-Buchanan said before the start of the game. Wakefield have been climbing, Castleford have been falling, and that's the mentality of both of these two teams. But I think flip the thoughts of tonight. Who's going to lose? Who's going to win? Listen, these are grand final games, these. It's not about who's going to get relegated. They've got to win. So approach them like the reward is the win, not the consequences of the loss.
Now here is Greg Eden then for the Castleford Tigers, who get their hands on the ball. Castleford 11th in the table, Wakefield 12th. Just ahead on points difference, the Tigers. Here's Jordan Turner back in the side, the sort of experience. Danny Ward, now the coach at the Castleford Tigers, 3rd of the season, having Jordan Turner back. The likes of Jordan Turner is a big boost, as is Blake Austin in his side. And there is Austin in possession briefly.
Well, there's plenty of match winners in both sides, isn't there? There's game breakers all over the side, but it's putting that 80-minute performance together.
Austin then hoists the kick. Senior comes to claim it for Wakefield, gets his first touch of the ball in his senior.
Bill, we talked about Blake Austin, that great kicking game that he's got. But Terry and I were watching him before the start of the game. Those spiral bombs that he's put up, he's probably a little bit too close then. That's why it was an end-over-end tactical kick, but one of those whoppers is coming out, let me tell you.
Now here's Reece Lynn in his testimonial season, and having a very good testimonial season off the field, going well for him by all accounts, well deserved. Proctor just inside his own half, and the ball with Luke Gale. Gets 1 or 2 jeers from his former supporters. Eden, though, is comfortable underneath that kick. Huddersfield's taking an early lead in their game against Salford, 6-0 the score. And Eden has made the break and got the ball out to Elliot Wallace, trying to keep it alive, and Liam Hood comes up with it for Wakefield.
Play on, isn't it? Of course, that kicking game is huge tonight, but just as important as the kick is the intensity and competence of that chase too.
What about the run from Greg Eden? He absolutely skinned Griffin, and Wallace just felt he was going off the field, had to get rid of it.
Good work in defence from Westerman. He's got a lead tonight.
Wakefield just inside the Castleford 40 now. Jowett, here is Reece Lynn. Mason Lino have Proctor on his shoulder. He runs into the clutches of the Castleford Tigers defenders about 15 metres away from the Castleford line. Here is Luke Gale, little burst of pace from Gale. Jarrett, and it goes! Senior trying to cut infields.
I'll tell you what, Bill, we're talking about...
goes for penalty.
Yeah, we're talking about Blake Austin's contribution in attack. What about his contribution in defence? I know there's an infringement here, but look at the urgency from the former Leeds man. Just chops down in his senior. Beautiful ball from Gale.
What about the ball from Jowett? To Senior, just hesitates, like you said, just Blake Austin got on his bike, didn't he? Physical in defence, Austin.
But Wakefield have the penalty and an opportunity. Josh Bowden is tackled. The referee signals set restart, so all the pressure on this Castleford Tigers side. Good defence to bring down Jay Pitts as he was threatening. Mason Lino, here is Proctor now. And Whitbread on his
Get off the ball now!
shoulder, but kept possession.
Go to.
Hood's pass, here is Gale now. Gale on it goes to Jowett. Again, they come to this left edge, and here is Josh Griffin making his debut. His second Wakefield debut in actual fact. Gale now. Whitbread. Lino trying to get away from Miller. He does just that, and he's weaving his way across the field, and then the pass is not a good one. It's behind Griffin. And Wakefield lose momentum. 4 tackles gone this set. Here is Mason Lino, busy.
Surrender!
Just inside that Castleford Tigers 10. Again, they're coming to this left edge. Again, it's Jowett. It's Griffin, and Griffin bundled over the touchline. It's good defence.
Well, plenty of energy from both sides, and Castleford all rushing over here as though they've scored a try to congratulate the way that Turner's been defending along with Wallace. Big efforts from both sides. And you can see no panic at all from Jordan Turner. When Griffin gets that ball, he knows that he's just got to clamp hold of him, make sure he can't get the offload away.
That's what they need. They need composure, don't they? Jordan Turner personifies that. He's under pressure, he's under siege. 2 or 3 sets of 6 his side have had to defend. He doesn't jump out, he bides his time and then executes a wonderful tackle.
Here is George Lawler.
Move! Square!
The Castleford Tigers surviving the early pressure from this Wakefield side then. Good work defensively.
Go free.
Salford have drawn level in that game at the John Smith Stadium, 6 points apiece. That's a good breakout now. And it's Shabel Tassipali, one of the new recruits, the Lebanese international. Austin, Westerman, Miller over the top. It could be in here. Good defence. That was Mason Lino coming across to make the tackle. Broadbent it was who was brought down. Miller hoists the kick crossfield. The ball is batted back, and Tassipali, has he got that ball down? Shabel Tassipali claims the try. The kick was batted back.
Tackle 5. I have a try.
Chris Kendall, tonight's referee, indicates
Just
he
take it in
thinks
the
it's a
air, into
try.
rounding, please.
Now it's the job of Jack
Make sure it's
Smith
back
to
from
decide whether
Castleford.
that's the case.
It's tackle 5, it's a try. It comes from a kick, please, so frees the ball on the foot. All Castleford chasers to the right are onside. We'll run it through from this to the catch. What's going up? That appears always off Watts. Can we just have that again, please, or a different angle of that, maybe? And where that goes in relation to the ground. Right, I'm happy that's off Watts. Can we just have the wide to check where it goes in relation to the ground? Yeah, I'm happy that's always going backwards from Watts. Just need to check the wide. So I'm happy it's off Watts. Yeah, that clearly goes backwards. And now something on grounding, please. He's in possession. Hand on ball.
Oh.
Have we got anything else on this, please? A live call of try. His hand left to stay on the ball and slow on this. Right, and the first angle again, please. I think this angle that we just had before this is our best angle. And really slow on this angle. And again, please, on that. Yes, please. Slow on this. Hands on the ball. Thank you. I made my decision.
It's the grounding that's in question, but has Charbel Tassipali on his second appearance for the Castleford Tigers managed to keep a grip on that ball and get the first try of the night? He has. And acrobatic intervention from Liam Watts gives Danny Ward's side the lead, and it's Charbel Tassipali, 4 Lebanese caps to his name, getting the try.
Well, it's a good kick, isn't it, from Jacob Miller? He's targeting Luke Gale up against Liam Watts, who's got about a foot on him. But it was Tassipali who got him into this position over on the right edge. You come up with a block-busting run. You get through the set, you get to the back end of the set, and Tassipali's there to score what could be a crucial try. Goal by Gareth Widdop. Big start.
It's a really smart kick, a really diligent chase, isn't it? And you can pick up from the messages from both coaches that the first try is crucial. Jacob Miller puts it just at the side of the post, knowing that Luke Gale will be there on his own, and he tells his back rower to chase and chase hard. And history over the course of the season tells us when Wakefield go behind to the first try, they tend to lose.
So Charbel Tassipali, with plenty to celebrate, came to Castleford Tigers from the Newtown Jets in the New South Wales Cup competition. No NRL experience. There you go.
Look at that.
First try conceded wins.
They've never come from behind, having lost and conceded the first try, never come back and won that game. They've got to do it tonight with all at stake.
Just over the halfway line, Castleford Tigers playing the ball. Jacob Miller. Here is Blake Austin, released by Leeds, allowed to come to Castleford Tigers on loan for the rest of the season. He's taken a bit of a knock there, but he gets back to his feet with the look of a player who's been on the receiving end of a few of those. Jacob Miller hoisting the kick this time. Max Jowett getting back to fitness, really. He was out for 12 games with Jowett earlier in the campaign because of an ankle problem.
He's not looking well at the minute, Blake Austin. Just had some attention from the physio. He's waved him off. You can see he's just ushering players inside of him just to try and get through this next couple of minutes. Some real intent in the defence from Cass, and some intent as well when they had the ball, carrying the ball into contact.
Go free.
So it's Wakefield's turn to try and respond. Whitbread plays the ball. Bowden now, that's the 5th tackle. They're just inside their own 40. Gale poised to put the kick in, does so under a bit of pressure. And Greg Eden is underneath it, and Eden has shown his intentions already this evening.
Well, a good setting defence from Castleford after scoring that try. And then Wakefield, after the kick, were up to scratch in their kick chase.
Pitch in immaculate condition here. Can't have any complaints about the playing surface. Conditions good. You know, a bit of rain in the air, but very still. That's Wakefield on the defensive now. As Westerman weaves and then strides up to the halfway line. Good work from Westerman. Liam Horn. Widdop.
Play on.
Almost through. 5th tackle.
Oh, he's just tangled it.
Races to untangle himself from Mason Lino. Miller. High kick. Jowett underneath it. Arriving with the tackle was Liam Horn.
A confident take from Max Jowett. I think, Tez, we were talking before the game about the impact Max Jowett has made since he's come. It's coincided with this run of good form. He's a real secure character at the back. The fullback in the modern game is the only player that can pick and choose on what side he's coming in. Most players are locked in at a side, and he needs to choose wisely tonight. That was a worry for me. Luke Gale got out from dummy half and no one turning up to carry the ball again. Liam Horn, he's wanting those players in the white jerseys to push up. Put your hands up, do some work.
That's the 5th tackle. It's Jowett who eventually did. It's Mason Lino. Deep kick over the head of Eden. It's a good kick. And it's not too strong.
It's a great kick.
Eden's going to have to bring that one back.
Well, Liam Hood, the hooker, the number 9 physical player. Games like this are made for him. He's quite destructive in defence. Everyone now trying to get all the Jack Broadbent, but you've got to compete for every single play. One little mistake can be so costly over this 80 minutes.
Here's Elliot Wallace, who's been picked on the wing for the last 4 games, and
he told Kevin Proctor there were too much attention. Ruck speed is going to be important too, as well as that great kicking game.
Kevin Proctor, that's why he's in collision.
You can see the ball is dropped. Well, you know, we've seen it go the other way, haven't we? I think the fact that the referee, Chris Kendall, told the back rower, Kevin Proctor, probably in the back of his mind, he was thinking Proctor's a little bit late into that tackle, but he then compounded that by having a little bit of a wrestle and grapple.
so the penalty takes the Castleford Tigers up to the halfway line. And here's Joe Westerman,
10 metres, Lou.
the club's Player of the Year in 2022. Dominated their awards night in actual fact. This guy wasn't far behind him, Liam Watts. Amazing to think he was the Albert Goldthorpe Rookie of the Year back in 2010, was Liam Watts. Here's Lawler. Castleford Tigers edging the way upfield, 3 tackles gone. Horn sends him left. Here is Miller. Miller cuts back in field. Kenny Edwards brings Kenny Edwards back in field. Liam Horn, the PNG international, brought on board. Oh, and then Austin puts the ball down.
You can see straight away he turns around and apologises. We're just trying to sort this right edge out here. See, Austin just had a little look up what was in front of him in Ashton. Just took his eyes off him. Gale, Ashton.
There aren't too many number 13s in the modern game that are ball players, and you've got Joe Westerman. You think back to Blake Austin's former team, Leeds Rhinos. Cameron Smith is the exact same player, so Blake Austin should be used to playing with a ball handling 13.
Ball in, Blake, get close, shot clock off. Out!
Here is Reece Lynn on the break. Danny Ward watching on. His first game in charge of Castleford, and he's coaching in a Super League fixture for the first time since his London team lost 19-10 here and suffered relegation in September 2019. And here we are again in an almightily significant fixture. It's not a relegation decider, but it's going to have a big bearing on who goes down. And there's a penalty there because Jowett was taken out.
It's the second one.
Yeah, the referee just having a word with Cass. I like Max Jowett, but he said that they certainly have improved since he's come back in. It's Blake Austin, just a little nudge in his back.
You don't need to make that contact.
Handy penalty
Wrap him and take to ground.
for Wakefield.
Go.
And here is Matty Ashurst, making his 300th Super League appearance, the former Saints man. Very much a former Saints man. He's very much a Wakefield man. He's signed on, in fact, to extend his stay at the club. Is Whitbread. Lino trying to wrong foot the Castleford Tigers defence. They didn't buy it. Hood. Josh Bowden edging his way towards that Castleford Tigers try line. Wakefield looking to hit back. Whitbread is brought down. Hood's ball. Gale with a little kick. Ball ricochets. And has Josh Griffin got the try? The ball ricocheted and Griffin looked to be the first to get there.
We have a try.
Chris Kendall reckons it's a try. How ironic that is. The last time they crossed paths, he sent Josh Griffin off for bad language. It cost him 7 games. Now he thinks Griffin has scored the try.
Tackle 5 try. It comes from a kick again, so back to the original kick, please, and pause on foot. Goes the kicker. Everyone to the left's onside. There's players to the right onside. Let's see if there's any involvement here. Yeah, you have to go back to that, see what happens. See what happens. Right, that's not being played at by Blake Costin. So can we go back to the original angle, the wide angle, please, and see what the involvement of the right-hand player is?
Is he a leader?
Can we roll it all a little bit further back to see how he gets there, please? Just see how he gets there. Keep going back on this angle. Right, it's Matty Ashurst that we're looking at here. Right, he puts himself in that position at the minute. Ball's kicked by Luke Gale. Right, so Ashurst's offside to the right. Let's see what happens now. Let's play it through. The ball's not played at. Let's see what involvement he has. Ashurst then starts advancing towards the ball. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Jack Smith just investigating that one, and it looks as though Josh Griffin is going to be denied the try because of the fact that Matty Ashurst was in the vicinity and was offside.
And because he took a step and a half and advanced towards the ball, I think this is a legitimate try. Obviously, the rules stay.
Yeah, that's it. It's
but
the rule.
I know, but what can he do?
No, but it's because he starts walking towards
I
it.
understand that, but
Carries
the rules...
walking towards the dead ball. Look, I agree with you.
The
It's
rules
harsh.
rubbish.
It's harsh. No involvement at all. I agree that should be a try, but
I don't think he's advancing towards the ball. He's advancing because he's advancing.
Exactly. That is a very...
no. But the point what they were saying was if he keeps on going forward towards the dead ball, he's out the play. Because he turns in and walks towards the ball, he's brought back into it.
Honestly.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I know you do. I know you do.
Harsh.
So Wakefield denied, and the Castleford Tigers are reprieved.
Well, what they can't do is feel sorry for themselves. They've unpicked that Castleford defence, and through a nice kick and a committed chase, they've been denied, but they've got over the line.
Move! Hold here, go to.
Just on the halfway line. Here's Lawler. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here from Jenna.
Yeah, evening, Bill. David Fafita, we know what an impact he has made on the pitch. Also offered, I can tell you that decision, Wakefield were not happy with it. But there is David Fafita singing out to his teammates saying, forget about it, let's move on. And just to note as well, his twin brother, Andrew Fafita, come back to me, Bill.
Yeah, because Castleford Tigers are on the attack. And a strong position. Andrew Fafita here among the crowd was out on the pitch before the game talking to players as Miller puts the kick into the corner. Tom Lynham rises above everybody else to claim the ball well for Wakefield.
Yeah, well taken. Under some pressure at the back there, and Castleford, they certainly are in this game now.
Wait, go to.
It is for Fafita.
The big bopper is on.
He's made an impact, hasn't he, since he come back?
Making his 150th Trinity appearance over 2 spells.
Go for.
Another one ran off for Tony on the field as well.
Is Jowett, burst of pace from Jowett, and then Griffin denied the try, weaving across the field. Josh Griffin then finds the pass to Jay Pitts. Pitts on it goes to Reece Lynn. Lynn hits the deck. Had Lynham outside him, but not enough room to work in. Is Mason Lino on the last, kicking cross field and over the heads. Too strong for Inesenia, and he is tall.
Well, we've seen Fafita's first carry. 3-4 defenders flock towards him, and then from that, good field position. Obviously, there's too much meat, too much weight on that kick. Maybe they should have took a leaf out of Castleford's book and put it 10 metres, 5-10 metres away from the side of the H's, but good break. I was surprised when I saw Josh Griffin in the centre, having spent most of the year in a Hull FC shirt in the second row, but so far he's had good involvements.
They haven't got a great record on home soil against Castleford Tigers Wakefield. They haven't defeated the Tigers here for a decade. That was September the 8th, 2013, when Liam Kay scored a hat-trick. James Clare scored 4 in vain for the visitors. The Cas have won on each of 8 subsequent visits to this ground. They are leading here by 6 points to 0.
This is where Wakefield need to apply some pressure, get the man to the ground, try and make it a bit slower.
Here's Liam Horn making his second appearance. Was coached by Rowan Smith with the North Devils. The kick, takes a wicked bounce, and Lynham responds.
Well, it works in the favour of Wakefield, did it? Because he was near enough at full pace when he collects the ball.
Austin with the tackle on Max Jowett. Blake Austin seemed to have shrugged off that knock he picked up earlier on. Mason Leno now. Wakefield into the Castleford Tigers territory. 3 tackles gone. Here is David Fafita, shrugs aside Tassipale. Brought down though by Liam Watts. Gale with a little kick ahead, sits up nicely for Gareth Widdop. And Widdop launches the counter until he loses his footing.
He'll be disappointed with that kick, Luke Gale. On the 4th tackle, it needed to be better. Still had another play up the sleeve as well. On the back of it, a good strong carry, wasn't it, from David Fafita?
Hold,
I think there's a problem for Castleford Tigers in terms of Jack Broadbent. Here's Jenna.
Yeah, Bill, there's a big problem. Jack Broadbent has come off with a suspected broken collarbone. He will not be back tonight.
Oh, that is terrible news for the 22-year-old Jack Broadbent, looking very disconsolate on the sidelines. He has been, until now, ever present in all 22 games.
He's been in good form as well.
A big threat with the ball, isn't he? When Eddie carries the ball, takes it forward. I think he's been replaced within the Cas ranks. I think it's Alex Foster, is it, over in the left centre? Can play a little bit of back row and centre.
Well, significantly, it means that the Castleford Tigers have lost their top try scorer. It was only 6, but the fact that Beretta Faraimo's no longer with the club meant Jack Broadbent had the next best. Here is Gale. Jowett. Little dink over the top. Oh, Widdop couldn't take it. And then reprieve again for the Castleford Tigers.
Well, I think it's Luke Gale that was offside. And Chris Kendall was penalising Wakefield in front of the faithful. You can see he stood in front, just to the right-hand side of where Max Jowett is when he kicks it. You can see he's got his hands up. The referee had already put the whistle to his mouth, though. You can see the relationship between Luke Gale and Max Jowett over on this left-hand side. Looks pretty good early stages in the game.
Do you know, I think Luke Gale, with that real craft he's got in the kicking game, should be targeting full-back and both wingers in the Castleford ranks, putting them under pressure, putting it high, hanging it in the air and getting good kick chase team.
Busy night. Salford had gone ahead. They were 6-0 down. They lead 12-8 at Huddersfield. 0-0 between Saints and Hull KR, and Hull FC 2-0 up at the DW Stadium. Here, the Castleford Tigers lead by 6 points to 0 in this crucial game from the foot of the Betfred Super League. Bottom placed Wakefield against 11th placed Castleford Tigers. Here is Blake Austin, and Austin and Gale, and the ball is spilled and Gale pounces on it.
Well, Matty Ashurst it was who was the man who effected the tackle, forcing Blake Austin to make the mistake. And you see he's just trying to get up to play on. Fell out of the tackle, Luke Gale. Luke Gale's first to pounce on the ball.
Reece Lynn tackled just inside Castleford Tigers territory. Eddie Batty on the field, bringing some of his effervescence to this Wakefield middle. Gale, Jowett, Turner quickly up on him to make the tackle.
Good read again from Turner, isn't it? That's twice he's made good decisions in defence.
Fifth tackle, Gale looking for the wing of Elliot Wallace, and Wallace deals with it pretty comfortably.
There you go, Bill. Good high kick, putting those backfield players, that back three of Cass, under some pressure.
It's not bad for Blake Austin, is it? Putting his hand up to do that.
Well, he's a big man, isn't he, Blake Austin? He wouldn't shirk any of those carries coming out of backfield.
It's Tassie Parley, the try scorer. Here's Greg Eden. Looks in the mood for it this evening, Greg Eden. Approaching 150 career tries. Westerman.
Good defensive set, that, isn't it? Look at that, just 13 metres in 5
that's the fifth
plays.
tackle. And it's going to need to be a big kick from Blake Austin. It's not a bad one. Picked up on that 40-metre line by Tom Lynham, and Lynham is on the receiving end of a high tackle.
Yeah, Alex Foster it is. You know, whenever he gets the ball, Tom Lynham, he is a big fella, and you want to try and get your body in front, get hold of him before he gets into his stride. And you can just see that Foster straight away clobbers him, goes up over the shoulder, round the net along with Eden.
Tom Lynham looking more like his old self. He's lost his Erling Haaland look.
Next one. Don't go over. Don't go over. Go.
So here's Reese Lynn. The penalty giving Wakefield good field position here. Can they do anything with it?
There's a try coming from Wakefield.
Liam Hoods. Is it coming now? That's the question. Renew for Tony on the charge. He's tackled just inside that Castleford 10. Here's Mason Lino. Jowett! Jowett speeds through and gets the try. And Max Jowett, out for so long, has come back into the side in recent weeks and really helped Wakefield turn their fortunes round. Gets his 4th of the season with a great burst of pace that took him through the Castleford Tigers ranks.
Well, it came from that high shot on Tom Lynham. The standing centre, Alex Foster, just lunges at the big winger. And centre and winger, desperate to make the tackle, give the penalty away. Really crisp hands. Gale to Lino, and then Max Jowett. We've already spoke how impressive he's been, how he exploits and creates space. And there he is, that's beautiful gliding try, and goes over. Beats 3 players to do so. That's Wakefield in the ball game now.
Well, he's been fullback in the last 9 games, and like Barry said before, he has made a difference since he's come back into this side. The relationship between Lino, Mason, I just think that Mason Lino, and Luke Gale, I think you can see them building. I said in the build-up to try, there was a try coming, and Max Jowett, he's looked strong, he's looked committed in this game.
Well, he got a try and 3 goals in the last home game when they beat Warrington. Max Jowett, he's got a try, he's looking for his first goal of the night to level the scores. Here at the B Wells Support Stadium, from the sideline, he can't find the target. But Wakefield are on the board.
Well, people say you've got to support the man with the ball, and Mark Applegarth will know that he's up against it. Danny Ward will be sending down his messages. But when he gets hold of that ball, Max Jowett, you can see that Jacob Miller, he has eyes for Jay Pitts, and he just hesitates and leaves that gap. As soon as he bites in on Jay Pitts, there's a bit of space for Max Jowett to exploit, and like you said before, Billy uses his pace to get around and through the gap.
This bottom of the table clash coming up tomorrow, 2:30, Sky Sports Arena, Sky Sports main event, a top of the table clash as Lee Leopards, fresh from their Wembley heroics, take on the leaders, the Catalan Dragons. Join us tomorrow afternoon for that, 2:30. Meanwhile here, Wakefield have got a penalty, the Castleford Tigers offside.
Well, Alex Fox, the second penalty in a row, puts his side under a bit of pressure here. The confidence is growing in Wakefield's side.
This is all about the bottom of the table. This is all about who survives. But there is also the RD22 trophy to be presented afterwards to the winners of this, the now traditional trophy that they contest. And here is David Fafita on the roll.
Can't give him that much space.
4 defenders around him.
And they stood and watched in admiration because he's taken Wakefield to the 10. And then Renufa Atoni with a strong run makes more yards, and Wakefield hammering on the door again. Mason Lino dummies once, gets the pass away. Griffin does get the try this time, surely. No hesitation from Chris Kendall. Griffin denied first time. This time they couldn't stop him. On his debut, well, his second debut, after 7 games out, suspended, Josh Griffin uses his power following a storming run from David Fafita. He says he's saying nothing.
Well, Mason Lino, point of difference, but helped out by the penalty that Castleford gave them. But you just can't give a man this size that much space. He causes havoc, terrifies defences. So you got that man mounting terrifying defences. The other player who'll terrify him is Mason Lino when he gets the ball. And you just look how he picks that defence apart with the pass to Josh Griffin. Perfect play from the halfback. Look, there's no panic from Lino then. Griffin knew that he had to pick the hole. He picks it, no panic. And Wakefield, wow, that's what Mark Applegarth was after.
Griffin keeping his counsel, I'm sure, this evening after his last run-in with Chris Kendall. And Jowett round the corner, more to his liking this conversion. From 6-0 down, Wakefield lead 8-6. And Jowett hoping to extend that. Missed with that one as well. 8-6 it remains. Just going back to that RD22 trophy, it's going to be presented by Kobe Poaching after the game. Son of Willie.
Yeah, I'm sure Willie will be enjoying the contributions of players like David Fafita and the chaos he creates. You can see 2 late defenders, and although it's not the play after, it's the play after that, there is chaos in the defence because of the input of David Fafita.
Mind you, Renufa Tony's made a bit of an impact as well since he came on. Some strong runs from him.
Yeah, certainly has. He started off his Wakefield career pretty slow, didn't he? Certainly got into his stride.
They had a big bench, didn't they? Fafita, Atoni, Eddie Batty.
Liam Kay's no slouch either. Big play all over the park.
Liam Kay will come on and replace Liam Hood, probably, and speed up around the play of the ball. I talked about ruck speed being important for both sides.
Here's Mason Lino, string puller for Wakefield. Jay Pitts now.
Well, that's it, the change of tempo when he's run then from Mason Lino.
Just puts a kick into the corner to test Widdop. Widdop climbs and is met as he comes down to the ground.
Well, he's gang tackle legally, isn't he? It's a slow play. And you just look at that line speed now from Wakefield. He tackled on the same line that they played it.
Tense nights here in Wakefield. 2 coaches anxiously watching their side in action. And as it stands, Wakefield would move off the bottom of the table as it stands. Long way to go in this game. Suia Matangi is on the fields. Then Austin. Big boot to the ball into the arms of Lynham, and Lynham loses it.
You could see that ball then. As soon as he kicked it,
All the cash players are outside.
Blake Austin, he terrifies the back 3. You just have a little look at the spin on that. Tom Lynham thinks he's got it, tries to weigh it up, can't quite get underneath it, and then he just loses his footing. Maybe take another step, try and get your body underneath it.
With the power that's in it, it looks like it's going 10 metres behind Tom Lynham. Then it starts to drop and drift forward and forward. It's like a plastic bag blowing in the wing.
Let's go, Dave. We've not got long here, mate. Heads in.
So head and feet to the Castleford Tigers. Just inside
Out.
Wakefield's 40. Here is Jordan Turner. Ashurst trying to get a grip with him.
Dave, wait.
Does so. Horn. Paul McShane, of course, still out for the Castleford Tigers with that arm injury, close to being fit to return, apparently. Horn once more. Miller has to stoop to pick that ball up. It bobbles its way through to Foster.
Got a bit of inside pressure then. Wanted to get rid of the ball, Jacob Miller.
Free.
Here is Westerman now. Always looking, isn't he? Just even in a tackle, he's looking over his shoulder, seeing if there's somebody there for an offload. Here comes Miller. Miller, short pass. Ball out to Eden! Eden somehow manages to get that down in the corner. And no hesitation from Chris Kendall to award the try. The ball quickly shifted out wide. And Greg Eden, who's been a threat virtually from the word go here tonight, gets his 5th try of the season, and he did well to finish that.
Well, put this down to the kick and the deception in the kick from Blake Austin. He had absolutely no chance, Tom Lynham. And I'll tell you what a finisher Greg Eden is. You can see he's got covering defenders in front of him. He's almost got to adjust his run and adjust his catch because the pass isn't quite accurate because of the pressure put on in defence. But what about the finish?
Right, see, he should have been dealt with there, shouldn't he?
Well, Max Jowett slips, but that may be because of the footwork and the anticipation and the threat that Greg Eden has got as they're both racing towards the corner. I don't know whether as a defender you think, well, that winger's going to do an acrobatic finish with the ball out in one hand and get it in a millimetre inside the field of play, but he steps back inside. Wonderful finish.
Well, Tom Lynham jams in, doesn't he? And you can see Max Jowett, he tries to push across a bit too quick, tries to regather his thoughts, regather his feet underneath him, and like you said, just slips. But he certainly knows how to score, doesn't he, Greg Eden?
From the sideline, Widdop misses with that. This game seesawing. It's now 10-8 in favour of the Castleford Tigers.
Just be careful jamming in on the lead.
It was hard to call at the start. Stuart Dickens, assistant coach in the Wakefield camp, on the sideline. How's it looking from down there, Stu?
Yeah, I think the game's going as we expected. It was always going to be a little bit nip and tuck, and especially with Cass getting a new coach in, Danny Ward, we're going to bring him out full of enthusiasm. That's everything we expected. I think from our side, we'd probably like to finish our sets a little bit better, being a bit scrappy with our kicking game and kick chase. I'm sure that's something we're looking to tidy up.
Stuart, thanks very much indeed. So, the Castleford Tigers have the lead back, 10 points to 8, half-time approaching.
Josh, go on. Well done, Luke.
And the tries from both sides really have come on the back of penalties or mistakes. You tidy that up, like Stu Dickens was saying, you've got a fair chance to win this game.
Foster. Tom Lynham with the tackle. Dane Doherty alongside Danny Ward, the new coaching duo at the Castleford Tigers. Danny Ward taking charge for the first time, their 3rd coach of the season.
Matty, don't go away. Wait. Go 5. He's good.
Massey slow to get to his feet. Miller with the kick. It's a very tall one. Jowett, though, positions himself well, makes the claim before Kenny Edwards arrives.
Yeah, he's safe, isn't he? He had a bit of time as well, didn't panic. Jump in the air, knew exactly what he had to do then.
Bear with me here, Tez. I know it's 10-8 on the scoreboard. I would have forgiven Cass for thinking we'll get a drop goal, we'll get an odd number and go into the changing rooms just with that psychological advantage there with that 1 point.
Well, Wakefield has spilled the ball. And the referee looked to the sideline to his officials for some confirmation and then decided it is a knock-on.
Yeah, well, first up contact's got to be good. hasn't it? And Griffin knows that he's a strong carry, and Blake Austin it is, throwing himself around in this game defensively. Gets in his face, forces the error. Now just 20 metres, 25 metres from Wakefield's line, under a bit of pressure again, and like Stuart Dickens said when he was talking to you, Bill, we've got to make sure that we clean those areas up.
Because they put themselves under pressure here with half-time approaching. Have Wakefield, and here's Jacob Miller, and Miller to Widdop, and Widdop to Eden, and Eden is going to get back-to-back tries. As simple as, but he hasn't awarded it yet, Chris Kendall.
Jack, we've got no tackle.
What's he looking for? Is it a foot in
Just
touch?
checking round him, please.
Possibly so. Jack Smith, another call for him.
We've had no tackle, live call it. Try, can we just check round him, please? Eden's in possession at this point, feet are in the field of play. Hands on the ball at that point, and hand remains on the ball. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Well, in the challenge for the quickest video ref decision, Jack Smith enters the running. Very quickly looking at that, didn't take much looking at because Greg Eden has got his second of the night and takes him to 149 in his career.
I said before that Blake Austin, he's physical in defence. He's a big standoff, gets in front of Griffin, forces the error. And then when you've got someone to speed of Greg Eden, look at that, Jacob Miller right into the line, Gareth Widdop times that to perfection and just sucks Tom Lynham in. Gareth Widdop out the back, he knows that he's going to be under pressure from Tom Lynham. He's done it all night. He's jammed in, tried to close him down, and when he just goes through the gears, that man, he's very hard to stop.
Don't underestimate the input of Alex Foster, that strong, hard, committed line. Ultimately, the ball goes behind him, but it was enough to stand up those defenders.
And that conversion from the sideline from Widdop is on target to round off a very satisfactory ending to this first half for the Castleford Tigers. Greg Eden getting his second of the night. He got a try-double against Wakefield in the win against them in April, 16 points to 4. He's got a try-double already here tonight for Danny Ward's side, who are in a strong position. As the half-time hooter sounds, they lead by 16 points to 8.
And the Castleford fans lucky enough to get tickets for this sold-out Betfred Super League game. Well, they are ecstatic with this half-time lead. 5 minutes to go in that first half, and it was Wakefield in the ascendancy.
Jared Sammets among the crowd here this evening, watching a fascinating game between these two sides. Castleford Tigers leading 16 points to 8. Wakefield would remain bottom of the table if this is the eventual outcome, and the Castleford Tigers would have a bit of breathing space. 5 defeats in a row for Castleford. They haven't won since June the 23rd, when they beat Warrington 23-14. Wakefield have got it all to do in the second half after that quick-fire brace of tries from Greg Eden, which took him to 149 in his career.
Yeah, that's it. The last 5 minutes wasn't well, was it, for Wakefield? Greg Eden, a couple of tries. But like Brian Carney said, they've won the last 4 home games, beating Leeds, Wigan, Salford, Warrington.
That Gareth Widdop conversion, in fact, right on the half-time hooter could be crucial as well. News from Jenna on the sideline.
Yeah, Nathan Massey's 298th Cass appearance has lasted half a game. He has a knee injury. We just spoke to him, asked how he was feeling. He said terrible. He will not be back. George Griffin is on for him.
So we've got the 2 Griffins on the field. Josh in Wakefield colours, his younger brother George. And the Castleford Tigers strip. So they've lost Jack Broadbent as well. Nathan Massey off the field. They're leading, but they're losing numbers.
They're going to have to dig in, aren't they, Cass? There's no doubt about that. There were aspects of that game in the first 40 minutes where the momentum swung in the favour of Wakefield. I think Cass started the better side. Halfway through it was Wakefield, and Cass finished the better side. But this game is going to ebb and flow. Emotions are going to run high. And it's who keeps the composure that will get the 2 points, I'm certain of that.
And the atmosphere has been fantastic from early on this afternoon. There were people turning up in the car park early this afternoon. There was just this buzz of anticipation and anxiety about it as the supporters congregated. And given the fact that that new stand opposite us is still being built, so you've only got 3/4 of the ground in action, it's a great atmosphere. And they do the pre-match well here as well. They've had loads of kids on the field doing touch rugby, including our very own Bassett Law Bulldogs. Hello to them.
Your favourite amateur team?
Their mascot, the Bulldog, is known as Baz for some reason.
He has a very strong resemblance to somebody we know.
Mainly in the backside area.
Yeah. Big nose, big features, big ears, and bad breath. There you go.
Meanwhile, here comes Greg Eden again. Eden looking for that 150th try. And he looks as though he's in the mood for it tonight.
Just can't give him space, can you?
There's Miller. The Tigers with their tails up, having taken something of a grip on this game, but it's up to Wakefield to respond now.
4 long passes the other side of the field.
Oh, go 5. Clear.
Austin gets the kick away up high. Jowett underneath it. Horn arriving. Perfectly timed.
He's had a good first half, Liam Horn. Come out and had a little look from dummy half. Really asked some questions of the markers when he's had the ball in hand, and then there's his commitment in defence. A great chase and perfect timing on the tackle.
Is Reese Lynn now for Wakefield?
Get square at Marcus, wait, go free.
And now Fafita. Taking the Castleford Tigers defenders with him up to that halfway line.
They've got to get him on the floor, haven't they?
Asher stretching for the ball.
Oh, go. 5.
Gale gets the kick away despite the pressure. Widdop underneath it. Widdop running it back before he loses his footing. Let's go down to the sideline. Scott Morrell, Castleford Tigers' assistant coach, joins us from there. Pretty pleased, I'd have thought, Scott, with the way things stand.
Yeah, obviously we started the game really well down Wakefield's half, and then give a couple of penalties away and a couple of errors, and Wakefield got back into the game, but we finished some good tries then at the end of that half and come out on top.
And what's the message for the second half?
We just need to stick to what we do well, is stick to his process and his game plan, what we're being set, and play rugby down in Wakefield's half, and I'm sure we'll be all right.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Well, they're in Wakefield's half at the moment, and Austin will hoist not one of his tallest kicks, and Jowett able to deal with that. We've seen Blake Austin really launch those kicks. Busy night, as mentioned, lots going on elsewhere. And Salford doing their top 6 hopes a power of good. 24-8 they lead at Huddersfield. St Helens 22-0 up against Hull KR, the side that Salford are really vying with for a top 6 place. And Wigan trailing at the moment in a tight game against Hull FC. And Saints could go second if Wigan don't get over Hull in that game. Saints could be in second place in the table. Fafita brought down just inside his own half. Gale drills the kick downfield. Widdop lets it bounce all the way to Greg Eden, and Eden gives it back to Widdop.
Well, that was a better kick, wasn't it, from Luke Gale? Eddie Batty come up with a couple of big plays defensively. He come up with a big tackle which probably stopped the set for Castleford. Then he come up with a big carry which enabled Luke Gale to kick that ball on the front foot.
Do you know, I think it was John Wells who pre-game was talking about points and where the points were going to come from either side. Well, Cas Tigers have just posted the highest first half score of the season so far.
16 points. Everything going their way as Griffin plays the ball. Kenny Edwards. Foster wriggling away. Reese Lynn eventually stops his progress. 5th tackle. Miller has time to kick again towards Jowett in that corner, and Jowett, who hasn't put a foot wrong really tonight, claims the ball.
Yeah, he's brave at the back, isn't he? He like kicking to that side where Tom Lynham is. Max Jowett just mopping up at the back. Senior coming in now, just trying to get some meters going forward.
Third, open square. Here we are,
Clap of the hands from Liam Hood, wanting some support. It comes from Eddie Batty.
Again, that's a great carry that behind the ruck. Could have been a set restart as well.
4, offload. 5.
Making good progress this set. That's the 5th tackle though, and it's with Gale. Gale gives it some air. Elliot Wallace comes and claims it well.
Yeah, well taken.
And it's a good breakout from Elliot Wallace. And Wallace passed 1-2, gives the ball to Charbel Sassipale, and he comes back infield. No, he's still going. He's looking for some support. He finds Widdop, and Widdop eventually brought down by Gale. What a run that was from Elliot Wallace, supported by Charbel Sassipale. And look where he's put the Castleford Tigers now. Miller. Here's Kenny Edwards. Edwards, the ball to Foster, and Foster! Alex Foster will get the try for the Castleford Tigers. And they've gone from one end of the field to the other, courtesy of that catch from Elliot Wallace. And his run through the Wakefield ranks. Tassipali took it on, and it's ended with Alex Foster returning to the Castleford Tigers, getting his first of the season for them. And the Castleford Tigers extending their lead, 20 points to 8 now.
Well, this is breathtaking from Cass Tigers. Talk about classy Cass. Beautiful footwork from Wallace. Sees his back rower, who's run strong all evening. He's not quite sure about it on the first attempt. An audacious flick to the fullback, Gareth Widdop, who does the right thing and keeps hold of the ball. And what did he do? They break the line on the right, go right over to the left, and a nice little pass from Kenny Edwards to a player who's come on off the bench, been under pressure, playing out of position, made a few mistakes. Alex Foster steps off that left foot and gets the first try of the second half.
Alex Foster been playing a lot of his rugby league this year with the Newcastle Thunder, captaining the Thunder in the Championship. Returning to the Castleford Tigers for his second spell, and that is a big try because it's kept the Castleford momentum going.
I know one person who would have enjoyed that. Mick Morgan, the great Mick Morgan. I bumped into him in the car park. I can't speak, he said.
Well, he'll be happy to see Widdop converting that one as well.
What about that tape? Mark Obligard will be disappointed with that. Thought they could have dealt with Wallace. The run from Wallace would have pleased that man, Danny Ward. It was outstanding. The line then from Alex Foster, back against the grain, on the back of a decent pass from Kenny Edwards. Just unlocks that defensive line, Wakefield. They got it all on here now.
So Wakefield really up against it now. 22-8, they trail. And the Castleford Tigers dominating it really. Ever since Greg Eden got his first try really, which put them, it was 8-6, Greg Eden hit back 10-8, and since then the Castleford Tigers have dominated either side of half-time.
Well, Danny Ward talked about execution being really important for his side. I'm going to go back to something I talked about in the first half. Oh, there's a mistake there. The reward for getting it right rather than the consequence of getting it wrong. That's where Danny Ward and the coaching staff would have spent their time today. All right, Joe Westerman has made a mistake there. The consequence cannot be that they concede a try. It's tackle time. They've got to put some effort into defence and get the ball back.
Wakefield Trinity have been the Houdini team of Super League ever presence since making their entry to the competition in 1999. Even when they've been up against it, they've managed to find a way to extricate themselves from the mire. as they did in 2006 memorably. Can they do similar now? Here is Reece Lynn. Foster, Miller doing the tackling. They're just outside the Castleford 20. That looked like an eye shot from Sui Matangi. Nothing coming. Ashurst.
The penalty coming here, Bill. Discipline from Castleford, because field position and a penalty now for Wakefield. It was a needless penalty to give.
Gale taken out.
You'll see it here. Is it Matangi? Just puts Luke Gale on the floor.
Captain.
Chris Kendall calling out Joe Westerman. I think that's the third penalty for pushing players.
In isolation, it's a penalty. But that's now 3 late hits in the game. You need to clean up that area, all right? Do that for me. Penalties here.
You can see that Cast Tigers are trying to put pressure on Mason Lino, Luke Gale, those decision makers and distributors, but they're getting it wrong. Big chance here for Wakey. They need to score now.
They do, and they've got a big opportunity as Bowden drives the ball in. Inside that Castleford Tigers 10 now. Liam Kay is on the field. Gale sweeps the ball to Lino. Mason Lino's pass to Jay Pitts, and it's good defence from the Castleford Tigers so far, but Pitts giving as good as he's getting. Stopped just short. Kay gets the ball away to Mason Lino. Gale lobs the ball over the top. Griffin looking for a second and getting it. Josh Griffin using his strength there. And the try is awarded. And Wakefield find a way back. Josh Griffin seemed to have the odds stacked against him there. The Castleford Tigers defenders coming across, but he's strong and he's in the mood tonight, and they couldn't stop him.
Well, Westerman makes the mistake, which gives the ball over to Wakefield, and it's just all about power here. You look at the numbers, Blake Austin does a decent job. He's sending Jordan Turner out, saying, yeah, we've got no problem. And Jordan Turner will be disappointed that he didn't do a better job here on Josh Griffin. But the power that he's got, like Barry said before, he's been playing the majority of this year in the back row. Big, powerful player that he is, finds himself out on the edge and gets himself over the try line. They needed that. They needed to be next on the scoreboard, Wakefield.
They need this from Luke Gale, who's taken on the goal-kicking duties now. He's only kicked 2 goals since joining Trinity. This from the sideline, head down, over the ball, across the face of the posts. 12 points to 22.
Well, the pressure's just ratcheted up. Mark Applegarth's side get the latest try. Again, they can't convert. So just the 12 points. They've missed out on 6 extra points. And of course, that would have got them a lot closer.
Stay behind. Stay behind. Okay, go.
Widdop resumes. Mason Lino underneath it. Castleford winning comfortably on their last visit to Bellevue, Easter 2022. 34 points to 4 it was. Gareth O'Brien kicking 7 goals. He'll be celebrating the Lee Leopards Challenge Cup victory, well earned.
Not still, surely.
Well, it was worth celebrating, wasn't it? And for Gareth O'Brien, who's been around the block...
They must have stopped by now.
Well, they better have. They've got to play the Catalan Dragons tomorrow afternoon. A game you can see on Sky Sports. Steve McNamara and the Dragons will be hoping that Lee haven't stopped celebrating, but it's tomorrow afternoon, 2:30, arena and main events.
Big game, can't wait for that tomorrow.
4th placed Lee against the leaders, the Catalan Dragons.
Packed house.
You
the
would
Lee
not,
Sports Village.
As Mason Lino hoists that kick. Eden is underneath it and loses the ball. It goes backwards.
Oh.
Wakefield protest.
Oh, he's lucky he's got away with that then, Greg Eden. They were desperate for that ball back, Wakefield.
Said it in the first half. Those high kicks are going to cause anybody problems, but we know about how Greg Eden can score a try, but he's also got a few glitches in his game as well.
Just going back to that Lee against Catalan game tomorrow. Okay, you might have thought, anticipated Catalan Dragons being top of the table, but you wouldn't have had Lee fourth in the table with 5 rounds of the competition, 5-6 rounds of the competition to go. But that is where they
with
are.
the Challenge Cup in the trophy cabinet.
Exactly.
I did.
Oh.
Derek Beaumont did as well.
Blake Austin hammers that ball downfield, and it sits up nicely for Tom Lynham, and then Lynham
Good return.
straight into the arms of the Castleford Tigers defenders.
Well, Kenny Edwards knew that he just had to deal with him then. And Reece Lynn now just trying to poke his nose through the line. Look at the last 3 games that Wakefield have played at home. Scoring points hasn't been a problem. 42 they managed to score against Warrington. Against Wigan, they won that game by 27 points to 26. 32 points the previous game that they played at home against Salford. Another score, and that's it. It's game on, isn't it?
As Lino, the pass drifts away from Jowett.
He's offside, Max Jowett, wasn't it? Reece Lynn,
Horrible tangle, wasn't it?
it hits Reece Lynn, goes forward to Max Jowett, and that's where the penalty is. Loose pass, you can see. I think John Keir said it at half-time. Both halfbacks trying to straighten up, so hips are facing forward, so defenders can't move on to where the ball's being passed. Sometimes you sacrifice a little bit of accuracy there. And Reece Lynn, you can see the despair in his face. You can see the celebration in the Cast Tigers player's face.
At Huddersfield it is full time, and Salford Red Devils have pulled off an important victory. 32 points to 8, important and emphatic. St Helens lead Hull KR 24-6, and Hull FC still with their noses in front at Wigan 12-8. Hull FC going to make a late charge for the playoffs. It's a long shot. Here's Miller. Kenny Edwards skips back infield and wrestles himself free and manages to offload the ball to Liam Horn. Horn keeps it going. It's picked up by Widdop, but they've lost ground of the Castleford Tigers. Here's Westerman now. Charging into the Wakefield ranks. Miller, little step from him, but Ashurst, beg your pardon, it was Whitbread who did the tackling. Here is Widdop, Widdop's pass finds Foster. That was on the last, that'll be the turnover. They'll be happy to turn the ball over in that corner.
Yeah, instead of just kicking the ball through and just chancing their arm, they'd rather just have a crack, one play at them, see if there's a defensive error in the Wakefield side. And now on the back of that, just look at this line speed here now. Intimidating.
Griffin putting himself about George, that is. As Castleford Tigers try and limit Wakefield as they bring this ball away from deep in their own territory. Here is Matty Ashurst, ever present in all 21 Super League games so far this season. Ashurst didn't like the attention he got there, looks up at the referee. Here is Lino, Jowett, and Jowett's pass is kept alive by Lynham. Oh, and then the ball's knocked on by Widdop.
Talk about luck. 2 ex-Warrington teammates there, isn't there? He kicks that ball because he can't get his hands to it, Tom Lynham. And look at that, he knows the presence of his former teammate running towards him.
Max Jowett at the back, when he, look at him, he throws his arms out saying, look, you've got to just push up. On the back of that, then he sees that Gareth Widdop makes the mistake, and then he starts applauding it.
Brilliant from Tom Lynham. It was a very good kick, just teased Widdop into the mistake and gives Wakefield a good opportunity here. Here is Griffin. Taking them all on. Kay urges him to play the ball quickly. Here's Whitbread now. And Whitbread gets the ball to Kay, and Kay is just short of the try line. Liam Kay so close. Wakefield another try here now, and they really are back in this game. Here is Mason Lino. Castleford Tigers defending desperately. Reece Lynn on it comes to Lynham. And Lynham heading up the try went forward, says the referee. It went forward from Reece Lynn to Tom Lynham.
Oh, it was too. It was a real shame, wasn't it, for Wakefield Trinity? They created space. They looked like they had the extra numbers. Max Jowett, and then a catch and pass from Reece Lynn. Yeah, it was forward, but only just.
You know, it's a game of inches, isn't it?
Oh, that was so close.
Yeah.
Let's go, put down.
He can't help you, lad.
Lynham frustrated, Wakefield frustrated. Golden opportunity for Trinity. Just waiting for the ball to return from the sidelines. This isn't deciding anything, the result of this game. Still 5 games to go after this, but tough run-ins for these two sides. Wakefield have 3 at home. Castleford Tigers, only 2 of their last 5 games are at the Menderhose Jungle. And one of those is against St Helens, and the other one is against Hull FC, who might well be looking for a playoff place.
They fell right into the trap then, Wakefield. Cass held the ball in at the back of the scrum. Yeah, you're right, Bill. There's some really important games, but difficult games coming up for both sides. I don't buy into the pre-match talk of we've got other games coming up. They can't bank on any of them games. They're all tough propositions. It's now, it's tonight.
Well, tonight it's the Castleford Tigers who are taking a big step towards safety. This run of theirs, 5 defeats in a row, has seen them slump to the foot of the table, just above Wakefield on points difference. Miller, Edwards, Widdop, Foster loses his footing and finds his way back in field, and there's another late shot.
It's the same as the ones that you've been penalised for.
He's the man that's been taken out.
Late hit on Miller.
Well, the referee's explaining to Wakefield that it's exactly the same, and you can just see. Listen, JP Pitts, if he's late, he's only just, his hands are almost touching as the ball is passed. I think he's unlucky there, mate.
But it's been consistent, Chris Kendall. I mean, he's pinged...
I don't mind that, as long as he's not looking to give a penalty, because he's given 2 the other way.
We're talking to 2. Widdop is going to try and claim another 2 for the Castleford Tigers.
He just wastes a bit of time as well, doesn't it, while he lines this kick up?
Yeah. He knows, doesn't he? The clock is the friend of the team in front. Applegarth talking to Sean Long. What a fortunate position both of these teams are. Cass Tigers with Scott Morrell in the ranks. Sean Long for Wakefield. Wonderful rugby league players who've been about a bit. They know about this game.
Castleford looking to complete a double over Wakefield this season, having beaten them in April, 16-4. Widdop into the rainy night sky and on target. It seemed to take an age to get there. It hung in the air and eventually just crept over the bar. 24-12 into the final quarter of the game. Rain falling down now at the Bellevue Stadium.
Penalised 3 times against Castleford. It's the same.
And which coach will be feeling the most stressed at the moment?
They both are, Bill, until that final whistle goes. Danny Ward talking about how delighted, how pleased and excited he is to be back in Super League. Well, he doesn't look very pleased or excited. He will do at the final whistle.
Just signed on for the remainder of this season, Danny Ward, following Andy Last's departure, with 1 goal in mind, and that is to ensure the survival of the Castleford Tigers in Super League. There's Lawler.
The big bopper's back on for Wakey. He needs to lift, and he'll try to lift his side as he did in the first half.
The Castleford Tigers are looking the more likely to add to their tally as Austin sends the kick up high. Senior underneath it, collects the ball, and Austin is quickly there to make the tackle.
Yeah, it's collected by Blake Austin then, isn't he, Senior? And you just look how nice and tight they are. Yeah, Griffin just trying to punch his way through the defensive line, desperate for a quick play of the ball.
Good debut for Josh Griffin with the 2 tries, but at the moment it's not going to be a winning debut. Ashurst plays the ball just inside his own half, and here is Reece Lynn. Lynn gets the pass away to Pitts.
Move, Alex. Hold, go, set to the side, play on 2.
Whitbread. It's Gale. Here's Jowett now. Austin and Turner with the tackle on the Trinity fullback, who's picked up a bit of a knock by the look of things. Gale. Fifita. Wrestling for him with him was Westerman, and Fifita went down in discomfort there.
It looked like he picked an injury up in that tackle.
Here is Matty Ashurst now. Ashurst trying to get away from Tassipali, who started the evening for the Castleford Tigers with that early try. Here's Luke Gale. Gale on to Mason Lino. Lino will kick across field on the last. Looking for Lynham. The ball is loose, and Lynham still willing to chase it, even though it looked as though it had gone dead.
Have a look at this.
The Castleford Tigers didn't deal with it.
We're coming back.
And Chris Kendall's going to go to the video ref again. No try is what he reckons.
Checking dead ball line, please. Yeah, it's gone backwards from them and then into this. It's backwards off Castleford first.
Got no try. Can you just go back to the original kick, please? All kick chase to the right hand side's onside. Everyone that we can see, play on from this. Right, that's backwards from Castleford, so play on through to grounding, please. That's missed. It's grounded on the dead ball. Let me just see if it's dead first before it's grounded.
The biggest sigh of relief is from Jacob Miller.
Right, it's touched by Wakefield first before it then hits the dead ball line. Thank you, I've made my decision.
Oh, so close. I didn't realise it was that close. Tom Lynham almost claiming an opportunist try there.
I thought at first Jacob Miller had almost faked to kick it because he thought it was going over the back line. It's no try. It saves the blushes of Jacob Miller and Tom Lynham. Again, is that the second try? The second non-try?
Yeah, the one was off a forward pass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's certainly a game of inches for Wakefield.
Jacob Miller be so relieved at that.
Yeah, won't he? That ball goes out and touches the white line before Wakefield get another set of 6.
As it is, Castleford, despite almost conceding the try through their own failings, have possession. And they're on their own 40-metre line. Here's Miller. Here's Liam Watts now.
12 points in front here. They've got to knock out the next 7 sets. The next 7 sets that they have the ball. No mistakes from Cass.
It's an exercise in discipline for Cass, isn't it? Kick long, chase arse. I think the kick chase has been really good all night.
Talked about Castleford's run-in. St Helens next, the Menderhose jungle for them. Wakefield's have got to go to Salford, and then they face Saints as Jowett takes that kick. Foster makes the tackle.
Again, pressure on Max Jowett as he collects. It's one player, one kick chase player. They do well to have more than one when the ball goes up, but as I said, the kick chase has been outstanding all night from the Tigers.
A little run from Luke Gale.
Again, he's running though, isn't he? Because there's nobody there with support. Gets out left, gets out right. Everyone's got to be an option here.
Wakefield. time running out for them. Lino drills a low kick, but it's comfortably dealt with by Widdop, who then sets Greg Eden running.
Move, Matty! Josh, Dave! Josh, come on. Go, one.
You can just feel the atmosphere drop now, can't you? It's gone quiet, hasn't it?
The Wakefield supporters sensing that they have come up short in this one.
11 minutes or just over 10. 2 tries, it is doable. And these good fans, these good people need to get behind their side, because it's the best little city on earth, Wakefield.
Miller, no way he was going to get that ball, and it's Eden who eventually picks it up. Got away with one to the Castleford Tigers there, as that's the 5th tackle. Austin. Again, Jowett is underneath it. We haven't seen one of Blake Austin's really towering kicks.
They set the stall out early, didn't they? There's only been 1 or 2. I think Tom Lynham had trouble with one of them for a cast try, but they've been disciplined. They've kicked to corners, and as we've said, they've chased hard.
Just Lynham offloading in the tackle there, and Inesini was alert as the ball pinged out. Nobody else was paying attention. Here is David Fafita now.
Defensively, they've been pretty good. Cass and connected, they're working together. Again, you look at that line, no one jumping the line.
Oh, now then, Whitbread is on the charge and has got some support. Oh, Mason Lino couldn't take the pass. And after a great run from Jai Whitbread, another opportunity goes begging.
As soon as I said no one jumping the line, I think it was Liam Watts that shot out the line, and it just opened up.
We make that the 5th line break that Wakefield Trinity have made. Cass Tigers 7. But when Cass have broken the line, had opportunities, they've took the Mark Applegarth side, haven't.
Into the last 10 minutes, the Castleford Tigers on course for victory, and Liam Horn with a quick darting run for the Tigers.
Move, fight space! Fight space! Yeah, I agree.
Could they drop a goal, maybe?
Cass looking to close this game out is Tassipale. Featured for Lebanon in last year's World Cup, the Tassipale. Down the short side they go until Jordan Turner has other ideas, comes back into the middle of the field on the last, and it's going to be turned over again deep in Wakefield territory, although Griffin reluctant to let go of the ball.
You see Liam Watts just jumps the line there, and it opens up for Jai Whitbread. Then he forces the offload. Mason Lino can't take it. Like Barry said, that whether it was Jacob Miller or Blake Austin, they should have set up for the 1 point. With 8 minutes to go, it would have took the game to 3 scores. The game's done then. Wakefield's heads will drop.
Griffin going across the fields. Turner trying to make him go even further across the field to the sideline. Griffin's a strong figure. Here's Gale. Once the course of the Castleford Tigers, Luke Gale, their record Super League point scorer in actual fact, with 947 in his Tigers days. Mason Lino, this ball spins out quickly, and that's Greg Eden with the tackle, and the referee didn't like it, and neither did the Wakefield players.
Yeah, he just puts him in a dangerous position, doesn't he, Greg Eden? You see, as soon as he picks him up, he tries to, when he picks him up and he can feel him heading towards the ground, he tries to look after him, you can see. He tries to get that tackle back.
So the penalty takes Wakefield up to that Castleford Tigers 30-metre line. 7 minutes on the clock. They need to score now to try and find a way back into this game, to try and unsettle the Castleford Tigers. This man has the potential to do that. Come on, he says. Come on, all of you. On board. Kay. Lino, the pass is not a good one, but Griffin manages to salvage it, then puts a little kick in and comes to nothing in the corner early in the tackle.
On the second play, I think it was Luke Gale that fell over when it looked like it was a sloppy pass. But kicking on the second play with tackles in the bag,
Hold here. Don't go away.
that's what you call like a hit and hope. It doesn't come off.
Go two. Line's good too.
There's 26-year-old Elliot Wallace.
John. Wait.
Contributed well this evening, especially in the second half, helping to set up one of the tries. Here is Jordan Turner.
He's done a lot of good work out of backfield, Elliot Wallace. He leads the meters. Greg Eden just slightly behind him. Both players up around 150.
Out. Bruce. Go 5.
Blake Austin will leather this one downfield.
Give 10, Kenny.
And Jowett will receive it inside his own 30.
5 minutes to go, boys.
12 points apiece. It's gone to golden point at the DW between Wigan and Hull FC. And St Helens have beaten Hull KR comprehensively. Here, Castleford Tigers on course for victory. And earlier on, Salford, comfortable winners against the Huddersfield Giants. Here is Fafita. Fafita gets the pass away. And Griffin, I think, got a hand to it.
Yeah, I think you're right, Bill.
So
it's not picked up by the referee.
Don't think it was. No signal from the ref there.
Sure, George Griffin touched that ball.
Tackle count continuing, and then Wakefield knock it on.
Well, look at the celebrations from Crass Tigers there. Every mistake that Wakefield make is a wasted opportunity. But I'm with you, Bill. I feel that there was a hand in from Cass. And we just saw a shot of Michael Carter in despair, turning his back.
Time off.
There you go. Let's have a look at this offload here now.
Let's go, Shabbat.
Yeah, he touches that, Bill. Great spot. Well, sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against you.
Let's go. Shot clock off. Head in, ball in. Out!
And it's gone against them tonight, Wakefield. For a while in the first half, they were very much in this contest. They led 8-6 in actual fact. But then the Castleford Tigers started to get a grip on the game. Those back-to-back tries from Greg Eden.
That was the difference, Bill, the 5-minute spell before half-time when they conceded those 2 tries. Obviously missed the goal kicks as well, the 3 attempts that they've had.
A tangy, enthusiastic run from him. Liam Horn signalling where he wants Jacob Miller to go, and Miller goes to the ground after the tackle from Liam Kay. That's the 5th tackle.
Goal 5.
And Widdett will surely just head for touch. He can't though, it's out on the full. Good pressure from Pitts.
He's toiled all evening. He may well have been offside at marker there, Jay Pitts, but you can't fault his effort. Does enough to put the fullback Gareth Widdett off.
3 minutes, boys.
So Wakefield's inside the last 5 minutes in possession.
He's kept hold of it. He kept hold of it.
And they will remain at the bottom of the Super League table.
Go on.
And while they're not safe, the Castleford Tigers will be breathing a little bit easier after this. Billed as the decider. Well, it's not. A lot to happen between now and the end of the season. And we've seen this Wakefield side pull off some impressive results. They've beaten Leeds, they've beaten Wigan, they've beaten Warrington.
And the 3 home games that they've got to play Saints at home, Catalan at home, Hull KR at home.
Luke, you're downtown.
Cass, they've got Saints, Warrington, Hull FC, Wigan, Leeds, so both sides got a stacked fixture list at the end of the season.
Griffin, the pass for Senior, sails out of play. Mark Applegirth, frustrated.
Turnover. Middle, yeah.
And we go back to when you were speaking to Stuart Dickens, the assistant coach, just before half-time, he said that, look, we've just got to clean up those mistakes. The fans now are so disappointed, aren't they? They expected so much when they turned up here an hour and a half before the game, expecting a big contest, expecting the revival to continue for Wakefield, who'd won the previous 4 home games, hoping for it to be the 5th against the nearest and dearest.
The Castleford Tigers, after their poor run of form, 5 defeats in a row, on course to celebrate their first victory since late June. And a victory that's going to do an awful lot to ensure their survival in Super League for another season and push Wakefield closer to the drop.
And you'd have to look at Danny Ward and say he's done a good job at relaxing the atmosphere, letting the players get on with their jobs. He said before the game, now he's smiling, Big Ward here. He's not changed anything technically. He's just changed the environment. Made them maybe trust one another, work on some team spirit and some of those bonds that we've seen in action.
The ball finds Greg Eden. Eden looking for the 150th of his career and faced by Max Jowett. And then there's another penalty. And they're going to bring it, Chris Kendall's going to bring it back to the halfway line.
Penalty.
Well, this is the 7th penalty that they've had in their favour. Mason Lino hits him. I think it's Kenny Edwards with a shoulder charge. Just see that's a bit of frustration as Greg Eden goes down the sideline.
Late hit on the passer. Okay, Jacob.
I think that's the 5th or 6th time we've seen Chris Kendall give that signal for a late challenge. And here is Alex Foster, try scorer this evening. Scored the Castleford Tigers grand final try against Leeds at Old Trafford in 2017. Those were heady days indeed. Castleford Tigers now bang in front of those posts. It's with Westerman. Last few seconds of the game. Widdop. Oh, Eden! Eden gets his hat-trick right on the hooter. And the 150th of his career. What a way to round the night off for Greg Eden. Takes him to 150. A hat-trick for the night. And the Castleford Tigers to victory. The 14th hat-trick of his career.
What a finisher he is. There's a fair bit of chaos going on here. Riesling jumps out the line, trying to snatch the player in possession, comes up with nothing. So with a fractured defensive line, it's just down to the ball player to select that pass. It's a little bit behind Greg Eden again. He uses that balance and footwork that he's got and shown throughout his career. And as you say, 150 for one of the best finishers in the game.
And he's been in the mood for it tonight. You can tell that from early on. There was a very early run from Greg Eden where he unlocked the Wakefield defence and almost set something up. Well, he's rounded off the night for the Castleford Tigers supporters here at Bellevue. Their Wakefield counterparts heading for the exits. And Widdop with the conversion to round off this victory. Which he doesn't. But he can smile, he can afford to smile. The Castleford Tigers can afford to smile because they have won what was billed as a crucial bottom of the table contest. The Castleford Tigers have won it ultimately convincingly and left Mark Applegarth and to Wakefield Trinity with a lot to think about with the remainder of the season to come.